Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Techyries. I'm Morgan, and this is KP. So, this is our first episode, and we're really excited to have you guys here. We'll be covering all sorts of like tech news, video game stuff, and a whole lot more. So that will hopefully have you talking with us in chat. Is there anything you want to say, KP, before we just kind of jump and kick things off and go into our interesting news?
Actually, I'm just really excited. I think this is gonna be great. I think you guys have seen me before. I know it, and Morgan has been around doing streaming for so long, and so like I just think between both our personalities, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and this is gonna be great, and probably make ourselves giggle and laugh too much.
Hopefully, it won't be as rough as us trying to figure out how to remove planks in Terraria.
That's right. Oh my gosh. That's right. Okay, so you guys have seen me around. I know you have. You probably have heard my voice before. I don't normally show myself, so thank you for recognizing that, Morgan. I am originally a French kitty, so hello everybody. This is KP. So this is me unmasked.
Unsunglassed.
Unsunglassed, unmasked. Don't get used to it, guys. Okay.
You
All
only
right.
get to
So let me
you only get to see her face here, guys. Sorry.
All right. Let me kick things off. So E3 was huge. It had a lot of announcements. But the one thing that I really want to shine some light on is actually Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Now, I'm a huge Borderlands franchise fan, and Tiny Tina has been one of those characters I fell in love with when she was introduced in Borderlands 2. She then grew up a little in Borderlands 3, as many of you know, and if you have played, the newer version. But for those who played 2, you may recall the D&D type style that they did for an add-on. It had the storyline where they were changing, like, things would change as Tiny Tina made the rules. She basically was the dungeon master, which was amazing. Well, this concept is actually coming back in a brand new game called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Now you'll shoot, you'll loot, you'll slash, and you'll cast your way to defeat the Dragon Lord. But what I really love about it is, now, the one thing that we always wanted was, this class type, instead of just being stuck with like I can be a gunner, I can be a mage of some type. Now you can actually create your own character just the way you want it. And I think this is what all of us on Borderlands players wanted. And I know I always wanted the ability to create my own personal character. Now, it'll be interesting to see what the character creation part will be like and how much freedom will be actually given by Gearbox. And there are also some big names in the game as well. Like we have Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes, and Will Arnett will actually be like, you'll hear their voices throughout the game, which I think is incredible. And Take-Two has actually confirmed, and this just came out, so this is brand new information I just found out today, that the game will actually launch between January 1st and March 31st across Steam, PlayStation, and the Xbox next year. So I'm really excited about that, and as soon as I can get my hands on this, don't worry, you'll have an update from me for sure. I'm just really excited. Like, I'm excited to see that they're bringing this game to a new level. Like, I've played 1, I've played 2, I've played 3, and it was always just like, well, you could play a siren, well, you could play somebody that, can basically cast something. And now they're giving you the option of actually creating your own type of character. And I don't know if this is going to give us more freedom as actual players, or if they're still going to limit us. But the fact that we can create our own class and our own type of character is huge, considering we've always been locked in whenever we played any of the Borderlands games. Now, Morgan, I don't know how much Borderlands you played, so.
So, I've played the first Borderlands and a little bit of the second. And then I just didn't have my person to play with anymore, so I just didn't really get to continue with it. But you're here now, so you can fix that.
So 2 is where it's at. I'm going to tell you that right now. 1 is okay, and sure. 3 is like, yeah.
Yeah, it's what I've gathered. So I know absolutely nothing about Tiny Tina, if I'm being honest with you. So
let me paint a picture of Tiny Tina for you, and
okay.
you'll understand why I love her. So Tiny Tina is a character that you meet. She's probably like, I think, like maybe 10, 11. She's really not that old when you first meet
Oh,
her.
she's younger
She
than
lives in,
what I think. Just seeing like the Tiny Tina like
well, she might
artwork.
be even younger than that. She might be like maybe like 7 or 8, but or maybe 9. She's not, she's not a teenager. I can tell you that.
Okay.
She's definitely not a teenager, but she's old enough to understand concepts and how things work. And you meet her in a cave in 2, and you get to learn about all of her crazy psycho, like she's nuts. And
Oh.
like nuts in a fun way. Like in a super fun way. Like you have a tea party, and then you basically electrocute this other character that she wanted there, and then you have to go get her bunnies, and then you basically strap giant bombs onto her bunnies and then blow up this train
Oh.
bridge. Like it's crazy. And then even so the reason they made the D&D style game add-on for 2 was because Tiny Tina was really good friends with Roland. Well, Roland dies.
Yeah.
And it is so hard for her character to understand this. So you see all the main characters chilling around this table, and Lilith looks at her and she's like, "You do know she's like, Roland's dead, Tiny Tina." And she's like, "Oh no. He's coming. It's fine. We'll just wait for him." Like it's the concept that she can't get in her head yet, and then she finally understands. So that whole add-on is to help and everything, like help her understand and move forward with the fact that she has basically, like, Roland has passed away.
Gotcha.
So it's an interesting concept how she's changed. And in 3, when you meet her, she's a lot older, and you're like, "Oh, I want the craziness back," because her childhood craziness was just amazing.
So is like her look from 3 kind of like what I saw, like just concept art and everything else with, or even just the announcement for Tiny Tina Wonderlands?
So,
Or is she a little different looking?
I don't know. I didn't really see too much of her. I know this is her thing. Like, you're going to hear her, but they didn't really bring about, like, if it's going to be the 3 version or the 2 version. I'm thinking it's going to be more the 3 version, just because that's the version that we're all, like, aware of now, as opposed to 2.
Yeah,
but
you're more familiar with it because it's more recent.
Right, but if it's anything like how 2 was when they did the D&D style, it's going to be incredible, because they did such a good job with it. And for the record, yes, I was very scared of the Black Widow spiders in that game, and I still will be.
Oh boy.
So if we play, I'll be like, "Okay, bye."
One thing I love, like this, like the concept though of it being kind of D&D style, because anybody who ever listens to me talk knows I love D&D. Hence, like, some of the D&D stuff right there, the Funko Pops and the minis. But it's just I think it's really interesting to see, especially it coming from Borderlands, because I had no clue it was like had this like D&D style thing, and I find that really interesting, especially coming from the franchise that Borderlands is. I could totally see how it works though.
If you can get back into 2, and out of everything that you have, if you can play that add-on, I think you'll understand how they're going to make this just D&D style.
Sure. I mean, I think it's like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like you have to like defeat like a dragon or something? Or a dragon lord?
In the first one?
Or like, I think in the new one, in Wonderlands.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's a dragon lord, yeah.
Okay, so it's just like, all right, go to the dragon lair and fuck him up.
All right, exactly.
Love it. I love it. I'm excited.
And yes, as Latin said, yes, she became less crazier. It's like seeing Chucky that decided to tone it back a bit. Or a lot.
Or a lot.
Totally true. Or a lot.
I love it.
She was nuts. Like, 2, she was so crazy, but I loved it because it was like, you needed that one crazy character that you could be like, "You're nuts, but I'm in love with you. And I want to be around you so much right now."
I mean, think about it just in like comparisons. It was basically like Luna Lovegood in Harry Potter. It's like, you're crazy, but I freaking love you. So
right, and she was useful.
Exactly.
She was so useful.
I love it. Well, is there anything else you'd like to touch on?
No, girl, go ahead.
All right.
I mean, now I know we're talking new games, but I know remakes are huge, and
Yes.
remakes are starting to come back into play and everything.
Yes.
So there's a big one coming out. You want to tell me about it?
Heck yeah, I do. So, if y'all didn't know, during during the EA Play Live 2021, it was announced that EA Motive is set to remake the beloved, at least beloved by me, original 2008 acclaimed survival horror game Dead Space. Come on, that's freaking amazing. So, I ended up buying all of the Dead Space after literally watching Markiplier play it. Like my senior year, this is gonna date me. Date how young I am. But my senior year of high school, I had CAD class, and I just got to I watched Markiplier. So we had dual screens. I was like one of the only kids my teacher let me actually like watch YouTube and work on my CAD stuff. And I watched him play Dead Space, and I fell in love with the game. And I bought them, and I freaking love them. But this remake is currently only for the first game of the franchise. Is set for release on the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC. Though we have this information, no further release date window for the game has actually been announced. Dead Space will be rebuilt from the ground up in the Frostbite engine. I'm not extremely familiar with the Frostbite engine, but it sounds cool. With the developers looking to take advantage of the advanced SSDs, 3D audio, and other tech the latest console generations have to bring to Isaac's journey aboard the USG Ishimura to life once again. Some more info is that EA Motive is also working, which I think is awesome, with the fan community of the Dead Space franchise. They're allowing fans to give their feedback during the earlier stages of their work on development and modernization of the original game. So the first teaser trailer is out. You're able to go check it out if you want to. It offers basically an in-engine look at the mood and the tone EA Motive is striving to capture with this new exciting remake. So I am so excited. Oh, Anthem. Sorry, Latin saying that Anthem was on the Frostbite engine. Good to know. I really, as horrible as Anthem was, I really liked how it looked.
As awful as it was. So Anthem was pretty. I will say that. I know this is not talking about Dead Space, but it was pretty. But man, that game was just not good. And it's so fascinating that now they're doing more and more of these remakes, or at least upping them, like putting them into new engines, putting them in new graphics, all this stuff to basically bring them to where we are right now with all of our gaming. And I never really got into Dead Space, and I don't think I will. So I'm gonna leave that to you. Fine.
One thing is though, because just another thing that Lanton said when we didn't have the stream chat up, the Frostbite engine is very hit or miss, and it heavily depends on the game and if the team can get what they want out of it. And I hope they can, because knowing that Anthem came from this, it has a lot of room to work on this engine then. Because it is a game that, though is really dark and grimy, you can really make that shine through the details you can get out of that engine. I really wish they were working on the Unreal Engine instead of the Frostbite engine, because it has countlessly a lot of success so far. But also, it would help later down the line with filmmaking, because a lot of, especially Disney, has been using the Unreal Engine to make films and use
it's just
stuff
so
from
optimized.
That. It's so optimized, but it would be really cool to have that Dead Space stuff in there for horror and sci-fi. But it's
Plus,
okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of would like the Dead Space stuff, so I could have it on the free stuff. So when I make my game, I can do it.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. You want to give me a real nice Dead Space thing, and I can reuse it? Heck yeah!
Right. Thanks, guys.
That's very fair. That's fair, Lan.
I mean, I know a lot of people were huge into Dead Space. A guy I dated, he was really big into Dead Space. He really loved it. He played all of them. I just, for some reason, I love horror games, but I'm not super enthralled by them. I'm more
same.
my horror kind. Yeah.
Same.
And my
I
horror's
understand.
More I'll totally play The Forest with you guys. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I'll totally play Phasmo. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. But as soon as you put me in a single player horror game, I'm like,
I think the biggest thing that captivated me with Dead Space was the story, and how often you're like, what does this mean? Oh my god, oh lord, and like you have, to me, like, I think a lot, like, it was kind of a horror style visually, but I think at the same time it's a game that does really well both standard physical horror as well as psychological horror, because you're learning things as Isaac is learning things, and I think that really plays into it. And I'm a sucker for a good psychological horror, because even when it comes to films, I don't like horror, but I kind of lean a little bit more to the psychological stuff. But
and Latin makes a good point too when he was talking about Unreal Engine and Frostbite. I mean, the thing is the fact that they want to keep it in their own house, and why give it to somebody else at this point?
Yeah, I get that. But I'm just saying, it would be nice. It's the filmmaker in me speaking, okay?
Look, will you just calm that down over there? Just calm that down.
Calm down, Len. But no, I'm really excited.
Lan's taking the photography, so I get it. He's probably sitting there going, these idiots.
No, I'm super excited for Dead Space. I had, until my new car I just got, a Dead Space lanyard since high school. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You could barely read it. So I was like, new car, time to retire you. Goodbye, old friend.
Hello, darkness, my old
I also
friend.
have a really cool, like, poster. I just don't have room to hang it up. So. All right.
Latin makes a good point again. He goes, I'd rather games be in Unreal as well. Engine is easier to work with, leads to fewer problems. I totally agree with. Like we were talking about, I mean, Unreal has a better optimization overall.
It does.
Like, it just optimizes your games overall.
And think about it, with
Guys,
Unreal,
get your shit together.
With Unreal Engine too, it's like filmmakers now are able to just basically have screens behind actors and film on those and just do CG to make it not look like the game anymore, but it helps make their filmmaking faster. And it's also the same way for games, because you can borrow those assets, put them into your game, and then tweak them and make them your own. So it makes your game development and just your game design quicker. And hopefully help turn out good products faster.
Yeah,
emphasis on the good. Or good, great, excellent, but not, oh, here's a real fast product. Oh, but guess what? It sucks.
You're right.
But Dead Space is one of my like, at least top 5 games. But I also want to talk about, because I know you have some news about one of your favorite past games.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so guys, I know you know this. Diablo 2 Resurrected. If you haven't played Diablo 2, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the original OG. This version will give you a crash course in the game that a lot of people loved from the 2000s. Now, your favorite characters are back in this remastered version of the game. I had a chance to play actually the alpha version of it, and it was a blast from the past. The game's graphics were updated, and man, I just want to say it was nice seeing how it has changed in the last 2 decades. Unfortunately, if you played the alpha, you were stuck only playing the Sorcerer, Barbarian, and Amazon, which was sad because my favorites are actually the Druid and the Assassin. I wonder why. But it was nice to see. I wonder why. But it was nice to see. But it was nice to see all the favorite aspects of the game back, such as the tree classes, along with the original missions. And if you were looking to get back into this classic game, fear not, Blizzard actually moved up the release date, which was originally planned for December. Now you can get your hands on this game starting September 23rd, which I'm so excited about. I already pre-ordered it. And if you haven't pre-ordered yet, there is still time. Those who pre-purchase it, though, will have a chance to enter into early beta access. And I am greatly looking forward to that, because that's when I'm going to sit back and go, okay, I just want to do everything now. Just give me the game. Just give me the game. It's over. I'm telling you, this game is so awesome. This game was the game of my lifetime, like when I was younger. 8 people you could play with. It wasn't just whittled down to 4 or anything like that. You could have 8 people on your, like, literally online with you playing, going through dungeons, getting loot. Like, you would make your own little guild, and then you would just go. You'd be like, today we're gonna raid this dungeon because we need to kill Diablo. Let's go. And like, they're bringing back everything from the get-go. Like, Diablo 3, if you've ever played it, I hate, and I mean, I hate to be this person because I love the franchise so much, but I hate the fact that Diablo 3 is, here's your skills, here's your runes, enjoy. And I'm like, that's not how this game is supposed to be played. Diablo 2 was definitely more along the lines of, here's your different setups, here's your trees. Add as much crap as you want to whatever one that you want to build. And I was like, heck yes. So when I played Druid, I'd be like, yep, just gonna play around with the Vine Creeper right now. I'm gonna build this thing up. 20 points on Vine Creeper, I'm good. So I'm really excited about this. This was something that was a huge part of my life growing up. And it actually was something that brought my little brother and I together as gamers. I mean, that was something that was like huge for me. Him and I really never gamed that much until Diablo 2 came up. And it was funny because as I was moving, we started talking about it. And he was like, I can't believe all these people who've never played it. And I'm like, how's that even possible? And he's like, it was the best. And I'm like, I know! Like, we just went through this whole like banter, him and I, and it was so great. And I'm telling you right now, if you have not played it, you're playing it with me, and I don't care.
Funny enough, like, I actually have not played Diablo 2. I've played Diablo 3 and Reapers of Souls.
Okay. Which, by the way, just so you know, Reapers of Soul is actually not like a new version of the game or anything. Right. It's just an add-on.
Yep. So
Diablo 2 on dial-up. What?
Yes. I know that you have like this love for Diablo 2, and you got super giddy when that like open access or the beta or whatever it was opened up. But
yeah,
I mean, you're gonna have to play it with me. You got to show me the ropes then. So
I'm going to show you the ropes. Well, I got a laundry list of people. I got you. I'm going to call him out. I'm doing it right now, and he's going to hate me for it, but don't care. Tubby Tub, I'm going to show him the ropes. It's going to happen. I mean, Latin's already played it, so I'm not too worried, but he knows he's going to hook up with me, so we're good.
There you go. Like, I played Diablo 3, and funny enough, we were talking about, like, bonding with your brother and everything over it. For me, my brother and I, we bonded when I was a little kid, back on the PS2 and the original Xbox. Like, we would play Mario Kart and Super Smash, all the, like, games on the old, on the old Nintendo 64 and some other stuff, and we would sit and play side by side Pokemon and talk about Pokemon, but...
and you linked it? Did you link it? Because that's what we did.
So we did, sometimes, yeah. But the biggest thing that, like, really solidified, like, mine and my brother, like, we were always really close growing up. But our big bonding solidification, I don't know, was...
Solidification.
But it was Star Wars Battlefront 2 and 1, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 specifically, and Halo and Halo 2. Like, those 4 games... Okay. Like, we played every one of them together. And then after... Because he's 7 years older than me. So he eventually moved out. And it's like, we had game once in a while. But I really didn't get to game with him anymore. And then one Christmas, he bought me Diablo 3 Reapers of Souls. And... Like, after Reapers of Souls came out, specifically. And we ended up just playing again. It was so nice and, like, bittersweet. Because I got to, like, re-bond over another video game with my brother. And so it's kind of fun, cute how we have a similar-ish thing, but
and it both involved Diablo.
It did. But yeah, I mean, I loved, because I don't know anything about 2. I didn't know that 3, in your opinion, of course, was broken in terms of like how things work. So I'm interested to see what the old version was like.
So it's. To me, I don't really say it's broken. It's just they tried something new.
Sure.
And when they tried something new, I don't think it's stuck with the people that played D2, the original one, as well. And that's because, like, it doesn't really give you the freedoms that you normally have like you did in D2. Like D3 kind of like pigeonholes you, and I'm like, oh, I hate this. Like I don't want to be pigeonholed. I just want to like do my thing, you know, like make this be my amazing, you know, skill for the day. And it's kind of funny because Latin just making me laugh over here. He goes, me? Okay, so this is how you play the game. You good? Okay. Proceeds to run off and blizzards everything. But I mean, like, it's just so great how like the difference in the changes. But I do want to segue, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead. We've talked about 2 and 3. Time to talk about 4.
It's time to talk about 4 because I'm telling you right now, D4, even though it's still in full production, it is hopefully, from what I've seen, going to bring back a lot of the same things that we saw in D2. And so the latest news that came out of Blizzard is the release of the Rogue class, which if you have not seen the actual trailer for, it's pretty good. I'm not totally like sold yet on the Rogue, but I'm like, give her a shot. Along with the PvP section that they have put together called Fields of Hatred. Now, this was all announced during BlizzCon, which took place virtually, you know, because we're all still stuck in this pandemic, unfortunately. But the game also includes character customizations, and if you know anything about me, and I'm going to lay this on the line, you know I love to customize my characters, so I'm probably going to be spending several hours.
Me too, girl.
Screen, so, right?
You all of you have heard Rob yell and complain, like Grimnir, who streams with both of us, about how long I take doing character customizations. And we'll both just make an entire 4-hour stream about our own character.
That's right. We'll be like, guys, hold up, I'm not done yet. So according to Blizzard, this is what this is going to be consisting of. You're going to be able to choose different hairstyles, facial hair, adding jewelry, makeup, and body markings. And then another big deal, which you might recall, the Tetris inventory. How many of you people out there hated the Tetris inventory?
Yes.
It would drive me insane. Well, there's good news. Blizzard plans to get rid of that crazy inventory space issue, and thank goodness, because it always seemed like I was good to go, and then bam, I got a new item, and I was like, yes, I want this item. And it was better, and it couldn't fit because of one tiny slot I had available. So then I had to waste the town portal, dump all my stuff, go back just to pick up one stupid item. Like, it was so dumb. So they're getting rid of that, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm hoping it looks way better. Then they're going to add 3 new stats in the game. We're going to have angelic power, demonic power, and ancestral power. And each of those have their own unique stats. So angelic will actually increase duration of beneficial effects, demonic will increase duration of negative effects, and ancestral increases chance on hit effects. And now let's talk about the new skill tree now that every player will enjoy. And I just want to bring a side note to this. It's actually shaped like a tree.
I'm here for it.
Crazy. I'm here for it too. And it brings back the skill trees that that you saw from D2, which a lot of players enjoyed. But this one also, this one allows you to unlock branches of the tree and spend experience earned on active skills, enhancements, and passive points. And interesting though, they put the passive points actually in the roots of the tree. So it's like separated, which is really cool. And players should also be able to unlock about 30 to 40% of the nodes on the skills tree by the end game, which is crazy. And then on another side note about the game, they actually will make it PC. They will actually support controller on PC. But because I am such an avid Diablo fan, and I will not be opting into that type of game style, I'm sorry. But at this time, though, unfortunately, there's still it's still really unclear when they're going to release Diablo 4. There has been rumors that maybe next year, maybe the year after that, maybe the year after that one. At this point, they really can't say. I think just because it's so intense and there's so much to it, like the differences between this game and every other game is this one, you're allowed to actually move your character like up. Like instead of just like all like 2D, you just run straight and that's it. This one you're like jumping over things, you're climbing, like it's crazy. Like it's so 3D, more 3D mapping than like any of the other games. So I'm curious to see how this one does. I'm gonna pre-order it. It's gonna happen, unfortunately. I'm gonna have like no money from just pre-ordering Diablo and Borderlands games. But Morgan, I think if you play 2
Okay.
and you give that a try, I think that'll get you ready for 4.
Okay.
Because 4 is everything that a lot of the players that played 2 have been looking for. They're like, this is the game that actually makes sense in the Diablo franchise compared to 3.
It
So
sounds
it'll
like
be
almost like
fascinating.
the happy marriage of 2 and 3 in a way.
Now,
But more too heavy, if that makes sense.
more too heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be more too heavy. And that's what's going to make it so great, like, I think down the road. And I think people are going to stop playing Diablo 3 because they're just going to be like, eh.
Like, okay, so one thing that I find really interesting is you were talking about like the celestial and the demon and like like those different things. And now in people might hate me for this because there's mixed thoughts about this this class, but I was in Diablo 3 a demon hunter all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I love being a demon hunter, but
Okay.
so I'm curious to see like if they'll make like this is like probably the dungeon master in me speaking from D&D, but it'd be really cool to see how they like maybe intertwine that with like additional like classes like that.
So
don't
I
know.
will tell you, if you would like a little spoiler, I will tell you
Sure.
that the rogue is very similar to the demon hunter from what I've seen on the trailers.
We'll see.
But I am curious to see how the demon hunter is very similar to also the assassin from D2.
Okay. Now, so Grimnir was like, I've been lurking, but hold up, a kitty not looking like a cat? Well, thank you for the lurk, firstly. No, I'm really excited about a D4 because, I mean, D3, they had some beautiful cinematics, don't get me wrong, but when I saw the trailer back from from BlizzCon when it was first announced, I was floored. Actually, since Grim is here, I immediately, like, Grim and I were watching it together, or he sent it to me or something, and we're both like, we both need this now. When is this coming? Like, it looks so good. It looks amazing. So
Yeah.
this was one I've been hyped up for a very long while.
Well, I have been greatly hyped up for it. I'm hyped. If it's a Diablo game, I'm there. Like,
Yeah.
you don't even have to say hi. I'm like, nope, pre-ordering happening now. Like, I'm waiting for the pre-order to drop so I could be like, done. And then I go broke. And then I'm broke.
Grim, I am talking about when our original reactions to Diablo 4. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. I'm excited. And also, before we continue on, I just want to thank Luke W306 and Nick Amati for giving us follows. You guys are great. But
Thank you, guys.
thank you. But Grim says, oh yeah, he's not getting it after all. And that actually has to do with probably the next thing we want to dive into if you're good to move on.
Yeah, I know. This is going to hurt a lot coming from what's going on. But I will say that even though there are people out there that are pissed off about this whole thing, it's not going to change my thoughts on these two games. But continue on and let's...
Hey,
this is our big story of the night.
It is, yeah.
It's the one that a lot of people have been talking about.
Yeah, and all I have to say is no matter certain things that come out, it can't change your childhood feelings about certain things. You know what I mean? So, diving into, though, we want to discuss about the whole Activision Blizzard being sued. So, following a 2-year investigation by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, the state has filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard for fostering a frat boy culture in which females who are employed there are allegedly subjected to unequal pay and sexual harassment. So this surfaced and it's been all over. So a lot of us in the gaming and tech world, we've been hearing a lot about this specifically. The lawsuit document has also accuses Activision Blizzard for fostering, like, basically this pervasive frat boy workplace culture, and according to the documents, male employees in the office were seen heavily drinking alcohol or coming to work hungover, playing games at work and neglecting their responsibilities and then just delegating those responsibilities off to female employees, engaging in inappropriate behavior toward female employees, and banter about sexual encounters. They talk openly about the female body and joke even about rape. So there's a lot of heavy subjects within this lawsuit. And just a heads up, if you're uncomfortable with this sort of thing, maybe put us on mute for a little bit. But the lawsuit does happen to also cite one particular incident where a female who had already been subjected to intense sexual harassment at the company did commit suicide during a work trip with a male supervisor who allegedly brought inappropriate sexual items with him on the trip. The lawsuit is asking for an injunction that will force Activision Blizzard to comply with workplace protections, pay and undelivered wages, adjusting payments, and basically just giving more to the female employees. Since all this came to the public, Blizzard President J. Allen Brack has emailed the staff at the company calling the reported behavior completely unacceptable and pledged to discuss issues with employees to help the company move forward. And this really ticked off a lot of the workers. You can dive further into what the email entailed elsewhere. It's literally, you can find it anywhere on the web right now. But a lot of the employees just kind of felt a little shoved off, and it wasn't like the leadership didn't take like as hard of an action as they were hoping. But there's a lot more to the story and lawsuit that I can't completely go into, or we don't have all the time to go into. There's a lot of branches here and there. There's a lot of crazy twists and a bunch of other stuff about past management or current management people. But in response to this coming to light, World of Warcraft players actually even staged a digital sit-in stand against harassment in the Blizzard community. And even on June 28th, hundreds of Activision Blizzard employees gathered at the gates of Blizzard's campus in protest. So people are standing against this. A lot of people are talking about no longer purchasing Activision Blizzard just merchandise, whether it's games or other things that help the games. And it's made a really big impact. Like, I haven't been really strong in the Activision Blizzard community specifically, but I still really enjoyed what Blizzard and Activision brought to offer to the gaming industry. And they're both huge names. Like, Activision Blizzard is huge in the gaming world. And to hear this sort of thing is really sad, because a lot of us nerdy people come from a background of not being treated the best, and it's sad to hear that nerdy people aren't treating each other great. So I don't know, it's really sad, and I hope everybody gets what they need to get, and that management can make a good change for the better. What about you? Do you have any thoughts, I guess?
I mean, I will say, like, overall, that this incident is not the only incident that we have seen regarding just anything, like any company. And we are seeing more and more this coming into light in other companies as well. It doesn't have to be a video game company. It doesn't have to be a car company. It doesn't have to be any kind. It could be any company out there. And I guess from what I do as my day job, it's so fascinating because, like, literally, like, a few weeks ago, we had a lawsuit come out, and it was against one of the universities, and it was all these females coming forward saying that they were sexually harassed and they were raped and everything else. And, like, it's not just in the video game industry, it is everywhere. And it's nice to see things like players coming together, taking a stand. I saw it all over social media. I just started getting into WoW because, like, to me, it's an interesting game. Tubby Tub actually got me into it, unfortunately. I said his name again. But I've been enjoying it, and it's sad to see, like, stuff like this, but it was also very interesting because I made it to Ouroboros, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this is where this happened. So, like, to me, I think players are also making lasting memories for new players that are coming into this whole thing and that are, you know, like they sat in on this. They want, you know, justice for what's happening. And unfortunately, this is inappropriate, and it's inappropriate no matter what company you're a part of. It doesn't matter what company it is. And it's sad that this is still the reality that a lot of people face, and especially you and me. I mean, I don't know if you want to say that you're in the media or not, but I mean, me being in the media, it is a big deal. I mean, I have dealt with it at my own places of work, and it's sad because it's normal. Like, that's the problem. It becomes normal in our heads, and it's not normal. And that's an issue. And it's until one of us takes a stand that we just let it go. And there's not enough people taking stands. And I think that's what the biggest issue is right now. And now that we're seeing more companies doing that and taking stands, maybe it'll have more people coming out and taking more stands. Like I said, I don't know what it's like for you. I could tell you, like, I have dealt with it, and it's funny because it's not even like it's not even the media industry. Like, I even dealt with it when I was working in the restaurant business.
Mm-hmm.
I was sexually harassed, and it was not fun. And I wasn't even that old. I will even tell you, I was 18, and I was sexually harassed. And I mean, I'm lucky I'm the way I am today, personally. So it's just, it needs to be something that needs to stop, I think. And we need to start treating everybody with respect. And that's something we don't do. I'm off my high horse.
And I 100% agree with you. I mean, I've been through my own harassments. You know, it's sadly as it is like of any age. I had issues in high school. I had it after. You know, it's something that happens in the society, and it's something that needs to be fixed, and that mentality needs to be eradicated. But I cannot say enough how brave the people who are standing up against this is, and thank you to them from someone who has been verbally or otherwise harassed at work, or just thinking, oh, she's a woman so she can't do everything at work. Specifically past jobs where I work now is great. They're all very accepting and wonderful, but you know, it's sad to it's sad to see people go through this, but anybody who has gone through this, just know you're not alone.
Yeah.
So
We'll make a support system for ourselves.
yeah, we all stick together. We all love
Right.
each other.
And if the boys want to be there to support us, they can be our rocks around us.
Yeah, I guess the dudes can help. That'd be nice. Join us. Join our side. We're great.
But I have noticed, like, it is interesting to see too, and I want to say thank you to every guy that has stood up for me, that has stood up for, you know, any of us that have been harassed, whether it's we're doing the live streaming, like live streaming in general, like, we could be just chilling out and it's like, oh man, look at that girl. Like, Morgan, we were just watching that girl the other day, remember? And it was like, look at that ass, look at this, look at that. You know, like, it was ridiculous. The amount of crap that is out there. And I'm not saying that it's just girls, because it's not. I mean, guys get harassed too. I mean, it's not just one-sided or the other. And I'm not going to lie, girls harass guys too, and that's not right. And I think it's just so great when you can find people that can come together and support you and protect you and make sure everything's fine. And if somebody comes in and they say something that's going to be like considered sexual harassment, it's handled. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had to sit there and I'm gaming and I'm just like, oh, this moron. Hold on, guys. Let me take care of this. Like, it's nice to have somebody else there to help you.
Yeah.
Because you can only do so much on your own.
That's one really nice thing. That's the biggest thing that I love about, like, your community, my community, because we share a lot of the same community, and just being on Twitch in general. We we in general we deal with a lot of shit, and we have a strong wall against it, especially because with us working in the media field, we understand how you have to. And then as well, just on Twitch, even though we're still being us, we also have a brand to protect, because the brand is us. And so we have to put on this front that everything's okay and that we're handling it, and having people like moderators, just the people who are, whether they're friends or really loyal followers, who are there to help take off some of that stress from us when we're streaming, or just to have the communities we've created, just where we talk to each other and we create these discords, and seeing everybody interact kindly to one another is such an uplifting view that I get to see of our daily lives in our world.
Yeah. I mean, I want to tell you guys, I can't thank you guys enough. For everybody that's known me, that's been there. I mean, yes, right now I'm unmasked, no glasses, but there's a reason behind that. And that's just because I don't like to show my identity for that reason. And knowing that you guys still support me over that is great. And I mean, the fact that you guys don't judge me on it and you guys are there in case somebody does say something is so amazing. So I can't thank you guys enough, honestly.
Well, as much as I'd like to still stay sappy, I can't, because I will probably start crying. But like she said, thank you to all of you. You guys are amazing. We love you guys. We are excited to build not only our individual communities, but this shared community here on the Techyries as well. And you guys are the start of that. And thank you for already being here and supporting us. From my counter, I can see 8, but there might be more because I know there's always a delay. But thank you to the 8 or more of you that are there here right now with us. You guys are amazing. And we know we'll continue to grow and see you all. So before I cry, because y'all are so nice.
Don't you cry.
I cry easy, but I can't cry because then you'll cry.
I'm like, no, she started it.
I just got something in my eye, guys. But I mean, hey, just to end this segment is they have always said that gaming brings people together. That's whether you're gaming at a table, like playing Yahtzee or something or Monopoly, though sometimes Monopoly definitely separates you. or whether it's playing Dungeons and Dragons like I get to do with my friends, or sitting over a thing in gaming. Like I met you, KP, through friends of mutual friends, and we met one night, and then that same night we're chatting, we're just talking, and then immediately hey, let's link up. And then we start streaming, and then we just kind of cultivated ourselves within each other's communities, and it just kind of kept going from there. So it just shows how much gaming can bring each other together, because you are one of my best friends now. So it's such a great thing. I heart you too. I had something in my hand. I have my hair tied and I keep fidgeting with it. But about gaming though, because I know I've never seen you. I don't know if you live stream it, because I know you have a VR system.
I do.
And I
live streamed it a couple times.
Oh, have you? I saw you have 100. Over 100 hours for sure. I don't remember the exact number anymore, but of Beat Saber, and that's the one VR game I really want to play is Beat Saber, because I love music. I was a musician, and it's lightsabers. Let's go. This is what I need. But
let's go, bitches.
But I don't have a VR system yet. And just mainly because of pricing, or wanting to basically keep out stuff, or not keep out, but save money for things that are technically more important than a VR system. You know. But there's one. I know. But I know there was one you wanted to talk about, so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so, okay, let me ask you this, Morgan. Do you remember playing Operation?
Yes.
Do you guys remember playing Operation? You remember?
I loved and hated Operation.
But do you remember trying to grab that freaking funny bone and
yeah, and you always hit it. I didn't like the feel, but it Also, I've always had a really steady hand too, though, so I didn't hit it too often. Usually when I did, to talk about when gaming does not bring people together, I'd usually be like my dad or my brother being like, ah, and I'm like,
So you're the person I didn't like. Got it.
I was good. I mean, I messed up occasionally, but I was usually pretty darn good. Just saying.
You guys, she's telling me that she's the one I didn't like. It's fine. Anyway.
It's fine. You know, sometimes we're always we all have our strengths. Operation just happened to be one of mine.
Nick says that too many patients died on the table.
100%.
All right, well let me paint a picture for you, okay? Well, there's a startup company called Osso VR, and they created a new virtual reality that focuses on medical training, and it's actually partnered with some super medical powerhouses like Johnson & Johnson, Stryker, and Smith and Nephew. And the concept of Osso VR is it's to create a virtual OR where surgeons can perform different surgeries over and over again on digital cadavers. And right now, surgeons, you know, they can't work together with medical assistants just yet, but the company is working to make a multiplayer option. And Osso VR runs on Facebook's Oculus Quest 2 headset. So it's really interesting that they made this VR thing for people to learn how to be surgeons and work in the OR and be medical assistants without actually having to go to the hospital, and give them the tools that they need. So it just is so cool how technology is advancing everything and making it so much better, and giving them the opportunity to train without always having to be in the medical vicinities, or having to have a cadaver. Because what if we're low on cadavers? I mean, everybody's dying from pandemic, so I don't know how many of those people were actually cadaver, here, let me volunteer my body for science, I don't know how many of those people were actually marked as those. So it's just really fascinating to me.
Yeah, that is super, super interesting, because one thing I can't help but immediately think of is this is for teaching. This is for teaching medical training right now. But think about all the other things you could teach with this.
Oh yeah,
that is insane. For me, who went to broadcasting and digital media and film school, just getting your hands on so one of the biggest issues is I almost feel like this would help bring more schools and make schools more available to people, is think of why tuitions are so high. It's because they have to buy all this different equipment, blah 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 blah. If they get one equipment for VR and that's all they have to buy, I mean, it wouldn't be the only thing, but if that's a major could be a major part of how you're able to teach, and it cut down technically on prices. It's still not cheap to do this way, but it might help even out more of the price, if you will.
Well, and the other thing too is that we're looking at is we have we're still in a pandemic. I mean, we're not over it yet. We're slowly, life's slowly coming back together, but we're not there yet. We're not 100%. And think about it, if you have to go to school, you have to learn, you have to train, you have to do all this stuff, and it's well, I can't go to class because there's a pandemic. Right. Now this gives you a way to actually learn how to do something in a pandemic. So it's interesting that they're actually partnered with really big companies that are huge in medical and science and everything else, and they're bringing this to students, and I'm hoping down the road that actually this just takes off and gives other students opportunities. And it's so good too, because if you're at a smaller school and they have a medical school, or they just have a science, but you want to learn other things to become a doctor, but you just can't afford to go to a really high end school, this is a great way to give you that opportunity.
Especially one thing is if they get, because right now this is just VR. If they end up taking specifically AI and just bringing them to the point where they're melded together, you can literally have just virtual teachers.
Oh yeah.
And that isn't me bringing that up and just saying, oh yeah, let's get rid of teachers, because a teacher is so important. Having a real teacher, like I know a lot of my memories and um, a big part of even becoming who I was is through the teachers that I had growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think this could be such an interesting avenue that could open up further down the road than just medical training.
Well, and I'm also wondering too, like, so we literally have VR chat right now, which I know has been a huge thing for many people. It gets way for people to feel like they're engaged in a big group or their group of friends, hang out, that kind of stuff, all virtually. But I don't really know if you remember, but do you remember Second Life? How like Second Life was a thing? They thought it was going to be the next high technology for teaching and everything else, and
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, so we have this idea for surgeons, helping them get, work together with other people, can learn how to do all their surgeries and all this stuff. Now with the pandemic and everything, are we going to create VR chat to be a place where kids can go and virtually have class and everything else? And this is now the new Second Life. That's, I guess, not as creepy. I don't know. I felt like Second Life was pretty creepy when I first saw it. So that was just me. And that was just on a PC. I mean, now we're talking like full VR, which is crazy. Yes, I'm talking Second Life, people. I remember Second Life. I did not like
So
Second
I
Life.
was not a huge fan of Second Life either.
No.
Like I've gotten on it once within the last 5 years, and it was.
Wait, it's still around?
Yeah, it is actually.
I'm like, oh my gosh, it's still
See,
around.
but now I feel like, depending on how you say it, IMVU or IMVU, or other variations of that 3D chat, it's kind of more like that now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mainly used for like role play and other stuff than it is like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't people get married in that game?
Probably. I mean,
Maybe.
people get married anywhere, so yeah, I would say yes. I wouldn't put it past anybody.
People had jobs in that game? What?
Actually, there was one of my friends actually, she did what was it? I'm trying to think of it. She did a lot of stuff where like artwork. Basically, she would help design people's things and like grab everything and be like, "Oh yeah, this is what it looks like." This, and she'd actually help like do art, and it was really weird but really cool.
I didn't know that you can actually make a living off of Second Life. That's crazy.
Yeah, like there's a whole thing where it's even on IMVU or IMVU. I call it IMVU, but I've heard people call it IMVU, and I don't know how to really pronounce it. But since I've ever got on it, it was IMVU. They would take like basically screenshots or go and do. There's like photo booth areas where you can do poses and do photos of your person.
Oh, that's
And
so
then
weird.
people would take that photo and then throw it into Photoshop and paint over it and make like this beautiful character art of just you or the person it created. But yeah, they have like virtual, like even just like Latin is saying right now, they have their own clothing stores. They run virtual clubs, among other things. Like you could actually pay someone to make an article of clothing for your avatar.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, they kind of have that in VR chat where you can go to certain worlds, you can get your like new avatar kind of thing, which is really crazy. I did do VR chat a couple times and I kind of freaked myself out. So the one thing that's really weird about me with like VR, I'm going to say this right now because it's really awkward, but like if I'm physically standing still, and the character, like you push a button and it causes the character to jump, it like throws my whole equilibrium off and I feel like I like jumped out of my body. And so I know I'm going on a tangent, but it's really weird. It's a really weird feeling because I'm like click, douche, and I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean it's already closing off like two of your senses.
Yeah,
if you think
yeah.
about. So yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I've tried VR, but it was so the VR I did, which was it was so cool.
Which one did you do?
So it's I don't know what it's called. I will bring this out right now. But a couple 3 years ago.
Okay.
I think it was 3 years ago. Either 3 or 4 years ago. I went to Vegas for the NAB show. Okay. And they had basically, the really cheesy egg chairs. They had these egg chairs. So you sat in them. I was sitting for it. And you wore
Like Men in Black, the egg chairs.
yeah, but smaller versions. Yeah. But what was really cool is like you sat in it and they were rotating. And they would so it was really cool is like you put on the VR and everything and you have the headset and the goggles. And you sit in the chair and what they were using for the VR was basically almost like a game style version of like a crash scene and part of like the war for the movie Dunkirk. Okay. They made it completely VR and like first person. It was really, really cool. And when I sat in it, it like you sit in it and the chair was circling, so you had that feel of movement. And then in certain parts, like when you were crashing or like you would get hit or whatever, you feel the chair would actually go like and like actually adjust to the in-game stuff. It was really cool. Or it would like if you were because you were in an airplane for a part of it, if you were accelerating upwards, like you would actually the chair would lean back. So it was on this entire like moving system, and it would make it was really cool.
If you go to like Dave and Buster's or like any big arcade area, they have one that's very similar to that. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
This is just higher quality than that for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But
it's at the NAB show. Similar. It's higher quality than Dave and Buster's.
I would hope so. I mean,
this is like primo if you want to be real bougie in your home. Like I picture like think of like any like movie where someone think of anybody's like making an AI at like their home in a movie like in one of those movies and like you just see the glass and it's on a cliff and then they have this bougie white egg chair with the white lining. Hi Owen. that's
I got you.
Yeah. Hi baby.
Well, speaking of bougie, I think we got a little competition going on right now with Valve.
A little bit of one, yeah. Sorry, guys. Owen might be meowing like crazy because he decided it's time to bug Mom. Oh, my goodness, cat. Just shush. That's all I want. Yes, Nick, the cat wants attention. Owen always wants attention. Anytime I'm doing a show or streaming, he's like, it's me time. I'm the real star. I'm muted. I'm muted? Am I muted? Oh, I'm muted for you, but not for the stream. Owen somehow stepped on my mute hotkey. Good job, boy. Oh, God darn it. Thank God I removed the end stream button from my keyboard because he ended my stream so many times.
Thank goodness.
Thank God for the Stream Deck. And speaking of decks, because I constantly call the Steam Deck Stream Deck. You were making fun of me for it the other night.
I was.
So, Valve has revealed its newest gaming hardware. So, Owen, I can't read my stuff. Go. Thank you. So, Valve has revealed its newest gaming hardware, and that's the Steam Deck. It's a Switch-like handheld device that lets you play your Steam games on the go. It's packed with features like a huge variety of control options, a 7-inch touch screen for 720p gameplay, the ability to connect to external displays, and a quick suspended... Owen just clicked my keyboard. Oh my gosh, she's normally not this bad.
It's quick suspended and resume feature so you can pause your games and pick them up where you left off. The Steam Deck also has an option, built-in FPS limiter for better extended battery life.
Thank you. Okay, now that... Owen, you're leaving. Go over there. All right, so Valve is building the hardware for the device themselves and now has control over their own hardware destiny. So unlike their previous devices that have flopped, I'm sure you all know of them. There's I'm blanking on what it's called off the top of my head, but they had their other devices they were trying to use, and they were not making those in-house. And so now they're making them in-house, and they're developing their own hardware for that. For the Steam Deck, not Stream Deck. I have to really think about it. So the device has, for anybody who likes like all the techie info and the gear, like what's in it, the device has an AMD APU containing a quad-core Zen 2 CPU with 8 threads and 8 compute units worth of AMD RDNA2 graphics, and along with 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM. I hope you guys know what that means, because I do, but I am not good enough to help really try to properly explain it to you. But there are also 3 different storage tiers of the Steam Deck, which also changes their prices, just like even when you get a cell phone nowadays. So the base model is a 6 gigabyte storage tier.
64.
Oh my lord, Owen really messed me up. Now I can't talk. So, sorry, the base one is a 64 gigabyte storage tier, and that base model starts at $399. The next step up is a 256 gigabyte NVMe SSD, and that then starts at the price $529. And then lastly, 512 gigabytes of high-speed NVMe SSD according to Valve. And that one I didn't put the price on, but that was a little bit over $600. So all devices will have an available expandable storage using high-speed micro SSD card slot. They have not announced how large that slot is, because there's always, like my S21, it can only go up to I think 128 or 256 for the SD card slot. So I don't know if there's going to be any limiters in that regard for the micro SD card slot. But Valve says that shipments will begin in December. That's me stumbling through it.
Well, that's okay. I'm sitting here reading Nick stuff. Nobody calls me an NDVS something something. That's right, we don't. Sorry. We don't call you an N. Nope. And you mean an NVMe. Sorry.
Nick,
I will say,
just
though,
read up on computer parts. That's all you need. Because
right.
We all say our phones are like little mini computers in our hands. The Valve Steam Deck is literally a mini computer in your hands.
Yeah. I mean, basically, if you want to take whatever you play on your Steam and you want to take it with you and you're traveling on an airplane, this is the device for you. It's so nice too that this is a device that's actually going to give Nintendo Switch some competition finally. What?
Yes. Like this is basically, in my personal opinion, the Nintendo Switch with better hardware.
Yes. I agree to that. I agree with
It's
that.
like, I don't think by any means this is going to be a Switch killer, because you can't get Mario, Zelda, Pokemon on other other devices aside from a Nintendo product, and there's no way Nintendo will ever release that to be released anywhere else.
Are you nuts? Why would they do that? That's like their bread and butter.
Exactly. Like Nintendo was made.
That's like Coke giving away their secret sauce, you know, like.
Exactly. It's like, Nintendo was originally made to be a hardware company. Yeah. And then they also did like their subgenre of video games. And the video games is what really made them the money, not the hardware. Now the hardware was needed to play their games, so people had to buy it, but that was just their marketing scheme behind it all. And they've done their scheme well, and there's no reason for them to change, because people are still buying it. Whether it's for yourself, of people our age, even older, or even kids younger, like they're buying them for their 5-year-olds, because that's what's happening. So, yeah. Don't know if you had anything more else to say.
Nick says, it's shocking how much gaming industry trust I've already surrendered to the both of you. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we're very knowledgeable people. It's nice to see Steam sticking it basically to Nintendo. This is something that needed to happen, and I don't know. I honestly don't even think that PlayStation or Xbox would have even done it. I mean, if you were going to choose a company to actually decide to come out with a device that could actually compete against the Switch, it might as well be Steam. Because there are so many people that play on Steam, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I literally have over 400 games.
I have a lot.
I'm a little crazy.
Like, the big thing is too, though, I think this isn't gonna just be like a big competition for just Nintendo. I think it's gonna be a big competition for PlayStation and for Xbox, because think of how many games that you can play on the PC that are also available on either one or both of those console platforms.
Right.
So now this makes it mobile for them, and still also workable on your PC.
As long as it's not like the other thing that they released, which was that Steam
the Steam Link
Steam
or
Link.
something.
Steam
yeah,
Link.
that was awful.
Steam Link, I was like, this is gonna be great. I tried it once and it failed, and I was not happy.
Yep.
That thing did not like me at all. But I just don't want it to be like that. You know, like I want it to be, if I log in and I have internet connection and I've already downloaded these games, let me play them. And that's all I want. Because Steam Link just drove me insane. So I'm curious to see how this does. But will I spend the money on it? Probably not right now.
No, not yet. I mean, I don't want to buy the first thing by any means, because like I play some games that take a lot of power to play them, and
Right.
those are my main games to play. So I'm concerned. I'm not concerned, but I'm worried to see how the Steam Deck specifically can handle those. And
Right.
only time will tell. So I'm going to wait for them to come out, see how they do. I mean, my friends really want me to get a Switch so we can all get onto like basically the Pokemon Battle Royale game that's out or coming out. But, you know, I don't know. This could be where I go instead of a Switch. But it just depends. Just depends.
Right. I mean, I'm not selling my Switch anytime soon, so.
No, I mean, I will probably have that and a Switch. But
Right.
I haven't to this day bought a Switch yet.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
my PC upgrades are more important because I need them both for leisure and work.
Exactly. It's like, how else are we supposed to make money?
Yeah, right.
Techyries on OnlyFans.com. I mean, what?
Oh, she's already thrown that out there, guys. Yikes. Episode 1 and OnlyFans is thrown out. Oh, man.
What? I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, boy. We'll just have to... We'll make it... Our OnlyFans will be Techyries, and we'll just give you, like, the best sexy images of computer
Of our
parts
computers.
possible. Like, oh, let me pull out all of my, like, nice LG stuff and pose them. I do product photography, guys. I'll make them look real good for you. Look at them keys.
Look at them keys. What? You'll get an array of pictures of all the different shirts I own.
Oh, Nick, do you really not know what OnlyFans is?
Oh, no.
Nick, oh, sweetie, we'll have to have a talk after this. That's not a on Twitch stream talk.
Latin never seen a GPU have such curves.
Let me just pull up the processors with all their, like, little spikes and be like,
Look at that fan.
Look at that thing spin.
Look at that color, girl.
We'll just like, break out my camera, because everybody knows here. Hopefully you know, if you've been following me, because I talk a lot about filmmaking, photography, all this other stuff. I work with cameras. So then I'll just like get my camera, I'll just do these nice slow pans, we'll put in slow-mo, and we'll just we'll throw on the music where it's like,
Girl, it's getting hot over here. Ooh, I'm getting the vapors.
It's getting hot in here, so let me take off my computer's cover.
It's getting hot in here. Let's turn on the fan. Oh wait, I totally feel like I am getting so hot. All my colors are showing.
Yeah, just throwing some RGB in there. We'll just create it. Well, like, I have my lights behind me right here that I can make flash. We'll just get, like, this, like, psychedelic RGB light show going on. Make Thank you so much, Lency Games, for the follow. Also, we didn't get to say it earlier. Shirtless Dan. Thank you, thank you.
Oh man, why is this happening? Why is this happening?
All right.
I'm blushing over here.
All right, before we get anybody else hot and bothered, let's go ahead and jump over into another place that's actually pushing their way further into the gaming industry. So
Could make you hot and bothered. I don't know.
you never know. You never know. So if you guys haven't heard, Netflix, the streaming service, is branching out into the gaming world. So since they announced this development, they've come out with some more info. Netflix has revealed that the early stages of their gaming division will focus on mobile gaming. It has been since confirmed that Netflix has hired veteran video game executive Mike Verdu, I think that's how I say your last name, to become the new vice president of gaming development at Netflix. Netflix has also announced that when the games do launch on the platform, they'll be included in the members' Netflix subscription at no additional cost. Which, heck yeah! No concrete titles or games have currently been announced, but I think this is really, really intriguing. Really intriguing. And I have some thoughts, but KP, I wanted to hear yours before I dive into them.
All right. So I think this is great. And so I know that right now it's just saying mobile, and I'm like, mobile's all right.
That's where they're getting their feet wet, you know?
Right. They're just dipping the toe.
Little toe.
Dip in the toe. Just dip in the toe. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna stop dipping the toe now. But what I think is gonna be interesting is this gonna be competition for Stadia? Like, Stadia's up, it's running, Google's got it going on. But from everything I read, so I did some Googling. I was like, I just got to figure this out. Googling on Stadia. Good one, Kim. Good one, KP. Yep, go me. But from what I read, it sounds like Stadia is not doing really well. You know, it seems like it's running on borrowed time, and Google hasn't really pushed out any other big news. And it's like, is this whole thing gonna start lighting a fire under their butts to start doing more now that Netflix is becoming part of the gaming world? Like, it makes me have all these questions that are coming out. And then, as Tubby even said, like, Amazon Gaming Studio, like, that's a big deal. So is, like, all of this stuff just gonna be like, or like Nick's saying, like, is it gonna be now Netflix versus Amazon? Is it gonna be Netflix versus Stadia? Like, what are we gonna see for competition? Because yeah, I mean, they're still going to compete, too, against things like Xbox, because Xbox has their PC stuff. But this is all, what, like, literally off of your computer? Like, or not computer, your TV. Like, you could just be downstairs, whatever, I'm doing whatever. But it just makes me wonder what the competition is going to come up to and what this is going to bring about. And I do like that it's included in our membership costs.
Yes.
That is a big deal because I don't have time to pay additional costs. I don't make enough money in my whole entire career to pay for additional costs. So that's where I'm sitting. I'm trying to figure out how is this going to play in the gaming world industry that we've seen so far.
I do think, though it could definitely go against Stadia. I think at this point, Stadia hasn't. They're hurting themselves. Google should not have announced Stadia until they were ready to do more with it. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, yes, it's going to be harsh competition for Stadia, but I don't think it'll be harsh competition for Stadia, but not for Netflix, because Netflix, I think, is just going to take it and run with it. I do think their biggest competition is going to be Amazon. Like, Amazon already has. Oh my gosh! Wow. Now I'm stumbling. But Amazon already has Twitch. Like, Amazon owns Twitch, so they have that going for them. They have Prime Gaming. They have the Prime subscriptions. There's a lot happening there.
And they already have New World's in beta.
Exactly.
That everybody's been part of. So, like, that's their big game so far that they have out. So they're already showing basically not their all their cards, but they're saying like, "Hey guys, I'm
We're
ready
here.
to play. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm ready. You want to fight? Let's go." And I think that's where you were going.
Yes. Yes. And it's totally true. And hey, other sexy.
Wait.
Hey, Drennan.
Wait. Are you sexy and I'm the other sexy, or am I sexy and you're the other? I'm so confused.
We're both sexy. It doesn't matter. So the thing that I find really intriguing, and the thought I had when I heard about this, is from anybody who listens to my other show that does like movie reviews. We do entertainment news, and a lot of the news that has been coming out, it has been bringing up. Basically, Netflix has been getting rights to video games to make to make shows or movies off of, or even animes. Now, my wonder is behind all of these scenes, because if they were going to do Netflix gaming, they've been planning this for a long while. I would bet that they've been planning this since the first season of The Witcher came out. So what I'm wondering in those contracts, because you have to be able to do these, you are purchasing rights to make these. To make The Witcher, I'm blanking on a lot of the others that they've announced. I think there's a Zelda one that's also coming out. So my question is in the contracts, when they are signing over their rights to have these rights to make these movies, are they also signing the rights over for them to make new video game developments for them?
They might.
Because if they are, they could get it for some of the names that have been stated for moving to Netflix to be created. Like, I think they're working on another Assassin's Creed one. I think this is going to really, if that's the case, they're going to take these contracts that they have, they might have The Witcher. They might have Zelda, but I don't think Nintendo would have agreed to that.
No. Tubby says they have a Magic the Gathering TV show in the works.
That's right. They have that. However, like Amazon, like Nick just said, they have Lord of the Rings. They're actually working. Amazon's the one who is not working on, but distributing the Critical Role animated series that's coming out. And because Critical Role is now officially part of like D&D books, and like it's actually part of the D&D realm, as in another realm you can go to from Faerun. So they have. It's interesting though, because Wizards of the Coast and D&D are owned by the same people. So Netflix has Wizards of the Coast. Amazon could have, through Critical Role, eventually Dungeons and Dragons. We'll see. But I think this is really intriguing, in that with Netflix doing so much video game related shows, movies, and animes, especially they've been going really ham into the anime sector now.
Right.
They could be using those to also use them to bring on new titles under game franchises that are already big, to really help them get the Netflix gaming name out there.
Yeah, I could see how that could happen. I could see how by peppering in these games or these movies or TV series or whatever, it's like, hey guys, so we already did this. So what do you think if we just, bam, here's a Witcher game, enjoy.
Think about it too. They already have the actors for these parts. So now we get it, let's say, just Witcher, for example. We have the Witcher movies. Then they decide they're in contract to make a Witcher game now. And we get Henry Cavill not only on screen, but as the voice in the Witcher game.
Yeah.
They're already doing CG work for the movie. They can take that CG work and just add to it to work for a video game.
But I wonder first, though, if they're just dipping their toe, they're doing these mobile games, like, is it going to be the basic stuff we see? Like Candy Crush, or a basic, like...
I don't think so.
Well, they're mobile games. Remember, mobile games you can't pump them full of everything. Like, you can't over-process them. You can't make them over-complicated, because if you do, it doesn't hold.
I mean, I just want to bring up, looking at
how many mobile games you got?
I got quite a few, but some of them are just like solitaire, because I actually am a sucker for solitaire. Don't judge me. But two games that I immediately think of is like the D&D game Warriors, and even the Elder Scrolls game Blades. Now, they can be pretty taxing on your phone. They can kill your battery life pretty decently. They've gotten better. They used to be worse than what they were. Well, or what they are, sorry. But those are two games that, especially Blades, look beautiful. And they're more complicated than just Candy Crush or Solitaire.
When I say Candy Crush, when I say those type of things, like I'm saying like the mechanics behind it, not so much the actual game itself. Like you could play a game that's very similar to Candy Crush, but it involves actually fighting a character and you're putting down armies and all that stuff. Like it's interesting the concepts that they come up for with these mobile games, but I'm just not a mobile game person. Like I have tried so hard to get into mobile gaming and I personally just cannot do it. Like I'm like, oh, this is great, and then I get like maybe
and then you leave it, and then maybe a few months later you might open it again. I do the exact same thing. The only thing I play consistently is Solitaire. To be honest with you,
I love it.
I love Solitaire, and I don't know why. It's the one game I play consistently on my phone. It's like something I play it a lot when I can't fall asleep, and I'm trying to fall asleep because it tires out my brain.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
So Latin says that he plays Pokemon Go and War of the Visions mostly. There are some good mobile games though. Dreaded says Marvel Contest of Champions is the only game I somewhat play consistently. Nick says Solitaire getting massive plugs right now.
Yeah. So I do play Pokemon Go as well. I haven't played it as much as I used to just because of COVID. And with the pandemic, I just wasn't really going out. And where I used to live when I was still living with my parents, I had a really good area for Pokemon Go. Now, I have like nothing around me. I have to drive to go get to it, which is fine. But like, I could just walk to everything where my parents was.
Yeah, but like even Pokemon Go, like I got really big into it. I was like, this is so much fun. And then even that, I'm just like, I don't really want to play it. I think so. I know what my issue is. My biggest problem is I have a tendency. And I know there's several players out there that can actually contest to this. But I have a tendency of I get excited about a game, I start playing it, and then I get bored, and then I never come back to it. And I'm like, what's my new game?
It happens.
Maybe something new and shiny.
It's like, I'm not like that with every game, but I have games that I've done that with. Because it just happens.
I do it a lot. I have like the worst ADD when it comes to video games of any kind. I will literally be like, this is going to be great. I'm so excited. I get like to a point where I'm just like, I don't care anymore.
I think it's also like, this just popped in my mind. So it's not like a very thought through thought. But, I think part of it too is like, think of how many games there are now that it's like, you have this story, but then afterward I don't want to say grind, but there's either a grind or there's just so much. It's like, it's just an open game that you can keep playing and keep doing. And it doesn't feel like, and there's always new stuff. So it doesn't feel like there's ever a complete end to the game.
Right.
Which is fine. That's great. You have evolving and ever constant content to go and play. But I haven't sat down and played a game to its finish in ages.
Right.
I just did for a game that came out in 2016 for The Last Guardian. Oh my god, I cried so hard. It was ridiculous. It's a good thing I did not stream it. I ugly cried for sure. But it was so good. But I haven't played a game that ever had a true ending in so long. That was first because like we play Phasmophobia. That game doesn't have an end. It doesn't go to credits when you end a hunt.
No, it just you finish it and you're like,
okay, woo, next hunt.
We need to play. By the way, we need to play again. I'm just putting this out there.
Yes, let's do it.
Because of all the updates, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I played I think 3 weeks ago, so let's do it.
Okay, we'll do it.
But like that's one thing. It's like that's kind of where the gaming era is. Mm-hmm. It's like we have like you were talking about the Diablos. There isn't like an official end.
And literally, Tubby just finished it. Beat Diablo 3's storyline after 8 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. It's just it keeps going, and like games nowadays just keep going. They rarely cut to then here's a sequence. Like I love Destiny, but Destiny isn't a game that I'm going to get a credit scroll from. because
Yeah.
that's how the game was designed. And that's 100% okay.
Right.
I love Destiny and I am here for it. But I think that's where a lot of today's games are. And maybe that's why.
Yeah,
That
at the same time, I mean, when you add a new season, I mean, you're basically just adding on to the game.
Well, exactly, and that's
the whole
good.
thing.
Like,
Well,
I think it's good
think
to an extent.
I was gonna say, I think for certain games, like once you get a game where it's like, all right, I'm tired of you guys adding on. Like, okay, for instance, Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Their newest season, they're adding back into the game ethereal armor and everything else. And I'm just like, oh man, I hated this stuff. Like, this was, like, if I had to hate something in the Diablo series, it was that. Because I'm just like, I don't ever feel like that stuff was good. And I can't believe we're bringing it back. I'm like, can we just forget that ever happened and move on? But I don't know if that's just their way of saying, okay, let's keep them gaming, let's keep them gaming, let's keep them gaming until we come up with something better. Because now D4 is going to be in works, and does that mean, like, now we're going to taper off from doing seasons when D4
I would
comes out?
assume.
Right, but is that what they're doing, though? They're just keeping us hooked into one game, because WoW does it, everybody does it, they keep adding on, and you're just like, all right, cool.
Here's the new DLC. Here's a new DLC.
New DLC! Woo!
Pay for this.
Yeah!
Pay for this. Like, you know, like, and Lanton just said, like, Destiny is hard for him to keep up with due to his work schedule, and I actually have the exact same issue. I love Destiny. I used to play Destiny all the time, but my life doesn't allow me to play it how I want to. And I'm constantly waiting to play it how I want to, and I can't. And I also am trying to have a work-life balance. I have a man, you know, I have to spend time with. And I'm trying to, you know, I want him to, I want him to make sure my life isn't just streaming and video games and work. But he's also included. But I think, like, because we have this, like, I think just, like, trying to better round out where I was going. This whole setup of, like, having constant added content and not having a true end to a game makes us easier to step away and detach from a game and kind of, like, get tired of it or bored of it, or just step away and never come back, or step away for months and then come back to it.
Right.
Because, like, oh, it'll be there, there'll be more content later when I get there. So.
Right. Well, and I think, like I said, I don't think it's bad completely. I don't think everything's bad.
Agreed.
I think certain games don't need it. And I think, especially the bigger names, the bigger named games, it's like after a while, if you're going to make a new one, then when you make that new one, release it and then maybe taper off the last thing.
Sure.
It's almost like you want them to play the new one. Like when D2 comes out, they're going to want people playing D2. They're not going to be wanting, I mean, yeah, they're going to want people playing D3 too, but I mean, like, you kind of want to get people pushing into, like, your next big games as opposed to just...
I mean, realistically, they're not going to keep making stuff for Diablo 3.
No.
And
no, they're always just going to keep adding.
They'll do a little bit of add-ons, but it's not going to be any huge content thing. No. And so Diablo 2 is going to have that. So it's going to be like, okay, you can stay here and enjoy Diablo 3, but if you want bigger stuff that's worth your money, worth your time, it's here. Now go pay for it.
Mm-hmm. But, for instance, like, we played Raft. Remember playing Raft with me?
Mm-hmm.
Raft is a game where they can keep adding to it. They can keep adding content, and it's like, all right, cool. I haven't played this in a while. I know my raft is still alive. It hasn't gotten eaten yet. You know, but I made it to this island. Let's move on to the next island, you know? So I think it depends on the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not so much just every game should do it. And I really don't think every game should do it. Now, for instance, Phasmophobia, that's a completely different story because that game is still in early access. It's not even, like, full on finished.
See, that was even something that happened, like, with, because I think I got it in 2015 was The Forest, and back then it was an alpha game, and so I bought it, playing it. It was cheaper to buy back then. It was only $12, but they were constantly adding and developing the game still. We got to test the new stuff. Oh, there's new creatures and we can make new things. Cool. Here's new berries. Oh, I can poison people now. Like that's different because they're adding new content, but it's content just to make the game better.
Right.
And not just to have content to have content.
Right, which is why I keep going back to it depends on the game.
Yeah, and I 100% agree.
Right.
Well, is there anything else?
All right, final thoughts of our first show. What'd you think?
I think it went well until Owen showed up, and then it went good again. No, I'm super excited. Like, so this is a style of show that I'm pretty used to. It's not movies or entertainment news, though it's still kind of entertainment, but it's not like
techtainment.
Techtainment. But I mean, video games for me, and even technology. Like a little tidbit about me, and this is why this show is like so near and dear to my heart, and why I'm happy we're able to do this, and I'm able to do it with you. Is
Don't blame the cat.
Owen's blamed. Sorry. But it's okay. He's a lovable furball. It's good. One thing is, like, I grew up... So my father, growing up, even before I was born, he became disabled. And the way for my dad to make money for the household... And he was into technology even before he was disabled. But he got into really learning computers and learning how to build, fix, repair. You get a crazy virus, I promise you my dad can fix it. And because of him, technology has been such a big part of my life, especially with computers and everything else. Like, I remember sitting there, even just 5 years old, taking apart huge, like when the desktops were really big. I remember sitting there taking them apart with him and helping him be like, oh, Dad, remember this screw goes there. And he would do little pop quizzes, be like, all right, Morgan, what's that? I'd be like, oh, that's a processor and all this other stuff. And so that, like, technology has been a big part of my life because of my dad. And then on top of that, technology is a big part of my life, even from where I went in terms of my career. Like, I work in the media industry where I'm working with cameras. Like, I started being a photographer back my summer before 6th grade. I picked up a camera, started taking photos, and I loved it. And I was also in theater and orchestra and choir, and that pushed me to be into the entertainment side of things and into this media realm. And now I work for radio stations, and I work with audio stuff. I, on my own, make films, and I do photography. I have a production company. I'm here on Twitch finally. You know, I wanted to do Twitch back when I was graduating high school, and that wasn't something I was able to do in terms of like what I had technology wise, where I was living. I wouldn't do it at my parents' because I didn't like having my bed where I streamed, and being able to like have this and take all these things. Like, I grew up playing video games, like probably a majority, if not all of us did, you know, and especially for you guys watching. And it was something that my brother and I bonded over, and it's such like it's embedded into my soul. Like, I was the coined nerdy girl because I was always one of the dudes because I liked video games and like things that typically girls my age didn't like, which is fine. I'm one of the dudes, I'll admit it. I'm a bro, let's go. But
I'm a bro, let's go. All right.
I'll make a t-shirt of that one day.
You heard it here. She's a bro, let's go.
But, you know, having this game having this show just makes me so happy because I'm able to take everything that has helped form and make me who I am and talk about it and just nerd the hell out about it, and also bring in my professional side of like streaming and just even the media side of things and how things I work with, and bring it to our show and to bring it with you. You're in the media industry too, so it's really cool that we can bring both of our knowledge together and create such a show. And you know, the female gaming side of things, or just the female tech or media industry side of things, is, I don't want to say lacking, but it's it's slowly opening. In a way,
Right.
like sometimes a lot of females didn't want to admit they were gamers. Me, I threw it out. I was proud. I didn't care. But not everybody is that way because there's so much. Even kind of talking about what we we're going to earlier. There's a lot of harassment and thinking, oh well, you're just a girl gamer. You're not. You can't play with the boys. Like being, and that's why it means so much to be able to do this with another female of this industry, and it's super exciting because we can just hopefully this can go to other people and be like, look, female gamers are cool, guys. We're great. If you don't know that already, you know now, and hopefully it can empower.
Get in line.
Yeah, and hopefully it can empower other females who are really nerdy or just love this kind of stuff and make them feel empowered to talk about it too.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, this growing up, it was definitely a time where we as female, or as me as a female, I mean, nobody wanted to hear what we had to say. Nobody wanted to hear what I had to say. But like growing up, I was pretty much the IT person of my household. If I couldn't figure it out, then there was a problem. But it is nice because a lot of people don't get to see this side of me. They don't get to see the side of me where I get to come out of my shell and be me. Only certain people get to see that. And, and a lot of times, like, I have to have a thick skin. I have to have, like, this persona a little bit, to make sure, like, I'm not showing my, soft side or tech side or nerd side. But it is really nice that when I go to work, like, I'm the one that everybody asks, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll fix it. It's fine, I'll fix it, whatever. But it's also very different, because, like, where I came from to where I ended up, I feel like as a girl who is smart, sometimes not, depends on my mood.
Usually smart.
Usually smart. Sometimes I have blonde moments. We'll get into those. I feel like now I can finally be myself and be like who I've always been, and people accept me for that, as opposed to growing up. Growing up, it was like, you don't get to be smart. And I hate it. I used to hate this all the time, and this is why I can't stand it. But anybody that calls me a woman pisses me off. And it's because I remember being in like middle school, and the guys sitting there, and it was like this whole big thing of like, they didn't respect you. And it was like, women make me a sandwich, and women do this, and women do that. And I'd be like, no, I want to kill you. So like, to now have finally a group of people that hang around me and respect me for my, for who I am and my brain and everything else is like amazing. So this is a great show, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. And I'm so excited that people actually have been chatting up a storm. like it's so nice to see people chatting, and it is so nice to sit here and geek out with you and them, and you don't feel like you're being judged. You feel like people are actually listening, and they agree or they disagree, and we'll talk about it, and and we'll mention what people are saying. And I don't know if I'm Tina Fey or I'm Amy Palmer, or Polar. So you're gonna have to figure that one out, Nick, because I don't know which one I am. But
I'm also curious to see who you think is who, Nick.
Right, I'm like, I don't know who I am.
Nick, you happen to be someone who knows both of us, like on a personal level. So you have an interesting like aspect to like choose that.
Right. But I am hoping down the road, as we keep going, we'll get guests. We'll talk about things. I hope you guys come up with ideas. If you haven't, found us on anything else, please do. And I can't do everything. Why not, Nick? You are a god. Just do everything.
One thing is like, we're hoping to have guests, like you said. So you're not going to only see us. You're going to see other faces. Hopefully other fellow females. But, we also want to get you guys on here. Because like I said, I'm a bro. Let's go. Let's get you on here.
I'm a bro. Let's go.
It's gonna be my phrase now. I'm a bro. Let's go. It's like, I was someone who, and even to this day, like, I knew I was weird because I didn't like the things normal girls liked, and instead of letting that like kind of push, like, kind of like hinder how I felt.
I'm laughing at Dreaded. He's like, oh no, don't start saying that. Morgan's turning into a frat boy.
Hey, y'all. I'm a frat boy. We'll make a house.
Girl's body.
It's okay. I'm a frat boy in a girl's body who knows how to respect women. And you know what? Well, I know how to cook, ladies. I know how to cook. No, I'm just...
Ladies. She know how to cook.
I'm a bro who knows how to cook. No. If I was to ever have a frat house, it's just gonna be good music, good food, and video games. And of course we can't forget movies and everything else. But
Nick just said that if he's on the show, he's gonna be asking questions like, "Now, why does the Xbox catch on fire like that?"
Oh yes,
Last
Georgia Foodworthy. Georgia Foodworthy. Yes. Georgia Foodworthy was like my stage name for a mini how-to cooking show that I did one time at Dreaded, and it was amazing. Nice. And I would love to revive it one day. But yeah, you're not gonna see just us. We're gonna get other people with us. Sometimes, if life demands one of us not be here, there'll be a guest to fill our places or whatever. Like, we are super excited. One day maybe we can go on and just, instead of doing a show, we can do crazy trivia, like video game trivia, and go insane. And we can do a whole set of, it's like, oh, can I use my 1 point to call on the chat? Chat, help me out. I don't know. Crazy stuff. You know what I mean? It's super exciting to have y'all in here, you talking with us, you sticking around for these almost 2 hours. Thank you. And it's super exciting. And I'm really happy that KP wanted to do this with me. I went to her like, listen, I've always wanted to do a radio show. And this is why I was supposed to go into digital media arts, where I went to school. And then I didn't, because I went and did the tour and I saw everything about broadcasting. And then my brain was like, because at that time I really wanted to get into streaming. And I was like, oh, what if I did a radio show where I reviewed video games? But, like, I love video game music. I listen to video game music all the time. Just when I'm writing stuff, just for creative, like, to help with the creative juices. And...
Why'd you have to say it like that?
You gotta watch
the creative juices.
You gotta watch more of the
what happens with your creative juices. Okay?
You gotta watch more of the Wannabes podcast. I'm just saying, because I say things in weird ways, and Luke is constantly like, "What are you doing to me?" Like, he has his face of why.
I'm just saying, I don't need to know what you're doing with your creative juices, okay?
Come on, that's what OnlyFans is for. So
find out on OnlyFans.com. Techyries.
So the biggest
always
thing
happens.
is I always
like my shows always get into a completely off-topic conversation about something.
Hey now, it just shows that we're human and we can have fun and everything else. So see. OnlyFans header. Yes, creative tech juices. What we're gonna
I am so subscribing to that.
You know how you had streamers or OnlyFans people selling their bath water and everything. Ours will be little vials of liquid coolant for your computers.
I'm scared. I don't want to know what's in that liquid coolant. We'll label it liquid coolant, but we don't know what it is.
There might be some teriyaki sauce in it. You never know.
It's just bottles of hot sauce.
It's hot sauce. Yes, for anybody who decides, yes, I'm going to drink this. You're getting a rude awakening. It's going to have, ghost pepper, crazy hot sauce in there.
Oh, jeez. All right. I think we should wrap it up.
Probably. But either way.
We're getting on a really bad tangent.
So, lastly, though, it's I always wanted to do a radio show that was about this and play video game music and review video games and tech. And there was a way of potentially doing that through Spotify. And I brought it up to Kim. And then I was like, you know what? Wait. What if we just do it on a show? Minus the video game stuff because of Twitch DMCA stuff. But here we are. She got super excited. She said yes. And now we're our first episode in.
like you asked me to marry you or something.
She said yes. mean, she said yes to doing this with me, guys. And now...
Oh, hi, Hi, Firefly Jelly. Hi.
Hey.
I use OnlyFans to find the best deals on fans to cool my house in summer. Wait, am I thinking of the right thing? Amazing.
But, I mean, here we are, though. She said, I brought this idea up to her, said, what if we did a show on Twitch, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, yes, I think it's a really cool idea. I'm like, do you want to do it with me? And she's like, wait, really? Yes! Like, oh my god, yeah! Like, you got so excited. It was so cute. And it was super exciting. And now here we are at the very end of our first episode. With only another one to come next week. So.
That's right. Which, by the way, guys, it's going to be jam-packed. I got some really good stuff I'm working on for next week. One of them is actually about customizing your Discord. So if it's something that you wanted to do, stick around. I'm going to try to get video of it for next week.
That'll be so exciting.
Yes, and another thing I want to bring up is I'm also going to write up something about the new crypto games.
Ooh.
Those things are like really taking off, and I'm like, I kind of want to play. So those will be some of the hot topics that I'm discussing next week. Anything on your docket that you're thinking?
Not anything immediately that I can remember. I know there is a couple, but honestly, now that you're asking, I'm blinking on them. But
oh, good.
yeah, right. They're in my notes on my computer somewhere. But yeah, I do have some stuff I want to talk about. We're gonna have a great time, and that's what matters. And we're gonna chat with y'all, and you're gonna chat with us. There should be an Owen segment. There's always an Owen segment. It's whenever he barges in.
Yeah.
And that's on anything.
Given.
That's on my personal Twitch. That's on this show. That's on my other show. Like, he just comes in here when he wants. And you know what? I know that's what you guys are here for. You're not here for me. You're here for Owen. I understand. It is what it is. Like,
I mean, I got nothing. I only have me.
well, you're also a cat, so it's fine.
Right. Okay.
It's
so
just that
cool.
they're here for cats. I'm just the sidekick to the cat, I guess.
You're my cat kick.
Oh, thank you, Dreaded. I appreciate that. All right. Without further ado, though.
All right, this will do it for us, though, here at Techyries, guys. So we just want to say thank you so much for kicking off our new show with us. And don't forget, you know, you can catch us every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you missed this show, you can check our replays on our YouTube site. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord to hear when we go live and what us tech nerds are talking about. And until then, keep it high tech, guys.
Yes, keep it high tech. All right, everybody. Have a good night.